obviously 1-2 last week. Win against Southern, head over to Tucson to take on a top 20 team in Arizona. Really talk about the week as a whole and how that kind of leads into round one of the Battle of I-25 here on Thursday.
Yeah, we're in the midst of a lot of games in a few days, and when you look at the schedule as you're about to embark upon it, we knew this would be a heck of a challenge, especially after the injuries. And, it's just nice to have 3 days in between games this week rather than 1 or 2, in which we had last week. And, oh, boy, do we need it. We need a day off. We need a day of getting our, back in the classroom with our books and making sure we're good there. And obviously, in terms of the team, just trying to get a day of no physical contact, lots of rehab, lots of rest, and then certainly, have 2 full days of preparation for the game on Thursday. So we certainly aren't in a great mood after yesterday, but in this business, you've got to learn to have a short memory and get ready for the next one.
What's preparation like, Coach, for Thursday, given that you played them twice last year and they have a lot of the same pieces back, so you should know them pretty well personnel-wise?
Yeah, certainly when you play a team like them that many times and you are so close in proximity to one another, you know each other pretty well. So it's, a wash because both teams are in the same boat. But they have quite a few different players that they had last year. And then from what I've seen thus far, they're not playing exactly the same style. It's a different style than they had last year. So it will be different preparation than we've had in the past.
How does Jaquan Lyle change what they do, both offensively and defensively?
Yeah, he's a heck of a player. He's a Power 5 type guy with the size at his position, and then his ability on the court, especially on the offensive end. I mean, he can shoot from deep. He's got great range, and he's shooting at a high clip. But at the same time, he can play bully ball with you and back you down and score around the basket and get in the mid-range. And he's a great facilitator as well. I mean, he's putting up eye-popping numbers thus far, and he seems to be a leader of their basketball team. And I know he's been, waiting in the wings for quite some time because of his injury situation to get back on the court, and now he's showing everybody, why people were so excited about him, all through his, high school and college career, and now he's getting to be able to, put it on the court. So they got a lot of good players, but certainly, he's one of their better ones.
Can you talk about what you've seen out of Yvonne and Terrell so far? I know they've been dealing with some nagging injuries.
Yeah, Yvonne seems to be, rounding back into shape. He's a type of player that when he misses days, he just, for whatever reason, gets out of rhythm quickly. He loses his cardio quickly. And we've been with him now long enough to notice that trend. When he misses a day or two, it just seems to throw him off. And hopefully he can get, a good weekend this week. He needs to practice both Tuesday, Wednesday, and certainly be prepared for the game. But he's definitely closer to his norm than Terrell is. I mean, Terrell practiced a little bit of live work the day before Arizona, and it was the first time in 2 weeks he's actually done any live work. And I mean, that's a lot to ask someone. I mean, it's not like he's a seasoned NBA player, sitting out of practices and playing in games. I mean, this is probably the first time in his life he's ever been asked to do this, where basically he doesn't practice. And then come game day, try to go 100% and do the things that he's been doing his whole life and things that we need him to do at a high level. And he's just a shell of himself. I mean, you can, if you know him and you followed our program, he's out of sync. He doesn't look the same. And then on top of all that, at times when he's on the court, he's having to play a position that, he hasn't played, for us anyway, when the game is close, and that's a lot to ask someone, and you can tell he's just out of sync, and it is what it is. And he's a warrior for the fact that he's trying to do this. I mean, every game I ask him and the trainer, like, are you in or out? And he's always like, I'm playing, coach, and I'm like, okay, but at the same time I'm like, man, like, we got to get him right. So again, having that extra day, we need a week, but having the extra day hopefully is going to be big for him. I haven't seen or talked to him today yet. I will. He seemed to be okay after the game. He's always sore, obviously, because of not practicing, and then all of a sudden playing at that level will make you a little bit more sore than normal. But he's just out of sync. He's out of rhythm. He's out of sync. He's not handling the ball very well. He's not shooting the ball very well, and we all know what he's capable of.
Coach, yesterday you said that you're seeing a lot of the same faces, but the team isn't exactly the same as last year's. What's different about this team right now?
Well, first of all, I should put an asterisk by that statement because it's true. But, when I look out at them in the locker room or even on the bench, a lot of the faces are familiar. But, a couple of them, AJ and Clayton, are in street clothes. And so although I'm looking out there at them, they're not being able to perform on the court. But for me, where I look, it's all the same guys, for the most part. And it's frustrating because, and I said it post-game and I mean it, and I told the team in the locker room when we got back from Tucson that I can't put my finger on it, but it's just not quite the same. And it starts with me. It may be me. Maybe I'm doing something different. Maybe I'm not using the same tactics that I've used in the past. And we've got to figure it out, and we've got to figure it out quickly because the competition is not going to change much for the next 3-4 weeks. It's going to be a lot of tough games and well-coached teams with good players. And like I told them all fall, we're not going to sneak up on anybody. No one's going to look past us. Even Arizona, they were ready. And all the stuff we read, and then just knowing how they played in some other games prior to playing against us, they were ready to play. I mean, they wanted to play well, and they I think their staff had them well prepared. But in the end of the day, we've got to figure out how we can get back to playing with that hunger and that want to. And I think it's there. We just haven't been able to get it to the court as much as I would like.
What have you seen from Jabari? Just him stepping up with the absence of these these other players and the way that he's been performing as of late.
He finished the game well against Arizona, which hopefully will help his confidence. I've yet to see him do it this year in a game where it was meaningful, meaning that the score wasn't lopsided. He did most of his damage the last 10 minutes of the game against Arizona when we all knew, at that point it was going to take a miracle, one, for us to get back into the game, and two, to eventually win the game. So hopefully, the biggest thing is I think his wrist is okay. He didn't practice 2 days prior to the Arizona game, and he started the game with it heavily bandaged, and he eventually took it off. But he certainly wasn't 100% heading into that game either. But we need him. We need him. We got 2 guards down, and he's going to be playing big minutes, and he's got to be productive for us.
New Mexico State, what does this rivalry mean to you, to the state, and just to the fan bases after having been a part of it for a couple years now?
Yeah, I was educated early on my arrival of what the New Mexico game and the UTEP games means to this fan base, to this community, to the university. And we've jumped in it. They're important games. We don't poo-poo it. It's a big deal for us, and we prepare accordingly. But at this point in the season, it don't matter who we were playing on Thursday. It's more about us. It's more about us playing better. And after I watched the video, certainly they were better than us. I mean, they had better players than us. They were better coached than us. They executed better than us, but at the same time, there was some improvement in that game. There were some possessions where I thought we played better. There were some possessions where we actually played really good defense and were on point, and one of their 5-star guards turned around and just shot over us and made a shot. And that's frustrating, but when you get away from it and watch the video, I mean, that's all you can ask of your guys is to play their best and to get the scout into the game. And we did that for the most part, to be honest with you. And we took away a lot of their bunny plays, a lot of their crutch plays where they weren't able to score on those baskets where they normally get those over the course of the game. And so it was frustrating at times. Certainly, the biggest issue we got going right now is taking care of the basketball. I saw a stat the other day. Heading into this game last year, all right, we were shooting the exact, almost eerily close percentage from the field, the three-point line, as we were last year. We are now compared to what we were last year. Okay, and people are talking about us not shooting the ball well, and we're not. But we were still winning games because we defended at a high level, we rebounded at a high level, and we didn't turn the ball over. And that's the biggest issue is it's not the shooting. We'll shoot better. I mean, I'm around these guys every day. We'll shoot the ball better. But the turnover issue, and obviously having two guards out that are veteran guys, especially AJ, and the adjustments of playing different positions has caused us some problems. But we just can't turn the ball over. We talk about it all the time. And it's become an issue. And, one of the things, and it's one of the things you can't quantify, is when we became hurt, some of the drills that we do to ensure us to be tough with the ball and handle double teams and traps are hard drills. They're physical drills. They're drills that guys get hurt in, that have been doing these drills for a long time. And to be honest with you, we had to not do them as often and not do them as much. Some days we didn't do them at all, just because, walking that fine line of, hey, can we afford another injury? And certainly today we could say, well, we should have done them. Well, at the same time, we could say that, but another guy or two could be hurt. So it's just hard. It's really, really hard. When you're full strength, you're not worried about getting hurt. You're not worried about an injury. But when you are a little banged up and injured and you have guys out, you start thinking about those things. And I think that's hurt us as well, is our training just hasn't been quite the same. And hopefully this game experience and learning by making mistakes and growing from it will help us going forward.
Coach Sean Miller had some pretty good things to say about Trevelin Quinn, especially saying that it was a group effort to defend him. Can you kind of just talk about what you've seen out of him in general this season?
Yeah, Trevelin's had some nice offensive games. He got it going early against Arizona and then couldn't restart it after halftime. But we need him to score the ball. I mean, he knows that. We know that. His teammates know that. The thing with that is, he'll take some silly shots. And I don't think it's necessarily being selfish. I think it's more, I got to score, and he's got a lot of confidence. But he's just got to figure out, when to take those shots and when not to take those shots. But I think, his confidence is through the roof. He's got a lot of ability. For me, he's just got to be a better all-around player. And he's working at it. We've challenged him recently to be a better defender, to be a two-way player, to not hurt us on that end of the floor. And he's accepted it, and he's worked at it, and hopefully that will continue going forward.